What it do, YouTube? It's Can Do, and I'm going to be showing you how you can do this, and I want you to pay attention to the buffs along with my grenade recharge rate. And as you're watching, you're going to notice we constantly have a damage boost from the Gyrfalcon's Exotic Hunter chest piece, along with a void weapon boost from void wells and using our void nades that debuff enemies for even more damage. And let's not forget about what feels like constant volatile rounds, which you can never go wrong with, especially in a build like this. And I'll be sure to tell you how this cycle works, along with showing you different weapon combos that can go amazing with this build. But before we get into that, be sure to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. The goal is now 500 subs by the end of the month because you guys blew the other goals out of the park, so thank you for that. So without further ado, let's get into it. Oh my god, I'm funny. With the return of Gyrfalcons, so many builds have been being made, and it's been gone for like a month and a half, I feel like. But anyways, with this build I made, I feel like there's a lot of weapon combos that you can pair with this. And I'll be sure to timestamp that chapter when I do talk about the combos. Right now we're going to talk about a simplified version of the cycle, and that's going to be explained by Graduate Kindu. We're going to start off with the Vortex Grenade, which is going to give us volatile rounds, which is going to make it easier to get rapid kills, so then we could get an Orb of Power to proc Devour to get our nade back fast again, which we will be using the mod Harmonic Siphon to make it possible to get Orbs of Power upon rapid kills with the elemental weapon that matches our subclass. Next we're going to dodge to go invis so then we could get the Gyrfalcon's weapon boost at 35%, and this is also going to make them rapid kills I was previously talking about easier. Echo of Starvation is going to let them Orbs of Powers that I keep talking about give us Devour, so then we could keep cycling our grenade to get volatile rounds, go invis from that, get out of invis, and still have our weapon boost from our chest piece. And we're able to go invis so much because of the aspect Stylish Executioner. So basically any debuff kill you get, you go invis, and we want volatile rounds, so that's why we're focusing so hard on getting our grenade back, so then we could get them volatile rounds to keep cycling that. Okay, so now getting that out the way, for stats, you're going to want to care about resilience first, make sure that's 100, then discipline at least 80, and then you could choose either between mobility or recovery to focus. And right now I'm about to get into the exotic and its perk and why we want to go invis a lot. And you guessed it, the exotic we're going to be using is the Gyrfalcons. Oh my god, surprise! The exotic perk on it is called See Me Feel Me. Your weapons gain a bonus to damage briefly after you emerge from being invisible. When you are invisible and defeat a combatant using a finisher, you and your nearby allies gain a reserve overshield and improved class ability regen. These reserve overshields can be deployed by using a class ability. So we're mainly using this chest piece because of the 35% damage boost that it gives us, and we can get that from either getting suppressed kills with our nade, getting volatile round kills, or when we smoke an enemy, or when we dodge and go invis ourselves. So basically we have a lot of options on how to proc this 35% weapon boost. Also, if you already have the damage boost procced, it can't be procced again until the timer is fully gone. Getting into the aspects, the first aspect is going to be Vanishing Step. Dodging makes you invisible. Now this is going to be the easiest out of the many ways that you're going to be able to go invisible to proc the damage boost for the chest piece. And while on the topic of dodging, you're going to want to use Gambler's Dodge because when you dodge near an enemy, it recharges your melee ability. When we throw our smoke bomb at an enemy, it's going to put a weakened effect on them, so when we kill them, that's going to cause us to go invisible. And just real quick in the gameplay right now, as you can see, every time I get a kill with the volatile rounds, I go invisible. Moving on to the second aspect, it is Stylish Executioner, which is defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target grants invisibility and true sight. After performing a stylish execution, your next melee attack while invisible weakens targets. This is the aspect that's going to give us so many reasons to why we can go invisible so much, so then we can actually proc the chest piece perk. So we're going to have our volatile rounds that make us go invisible, our smoke bomb that weakens them that's going to let us go invisible, and it's going to be a fragment that I'm about to talk about right now that also makes us invisible when we kill an enemy with our grenade. Which means moving on to the fragments, the first fragment is going to be Echo of Undermining, which is your void grenades weaken targets, and that's going to take 20 discipline from us. That weaken effect that we get from the nade is going to give us a 15% damage boost also. The second Void Fragment is Echo of Instability, where defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds to your Void weapons, and this is going to give us plus 10 strength. And this is what volatile is. The target is afflicted with unstable Void energy and will explode upon taking additional damage. The type of weapon I would take advantage of using for volatile rounds is Void SMGs. I have two that I use in particular. One has Feeding Frenzy and Frenzy, and the other one has Adrenaline Junkie Auto-Loading Holster. And them two SMGs is Funnel Web, which is just an open world weapon that you can get from anything, and the other SMG is the Unforgiven, which you can get from the Duality Dungeon. Moving on to the next fragment is going to be Echo of Obscurity, and that's Finisher Final Blows grant invisibility, and that's going to give us plus 10 recovery. This fragment is just another way for us to become invisible so then we could get damage boost. The last fragment is Echo of Starvation, which is picking up an orb of power grants Devour, and that's going to take away 10 recovery. And what Devour is feast on the energy of your defeated foes. Final blows restore you to full health, grant grenade energy, and extend Devour. So when we're getting rapid kills with our volatile rounds, we should be able to get our grenade back in a quick time. Moving on to the mods, on the head we have two Harmonic Siphons, and when we use a weapon with the same element as our subclass, then we get an Orb of Power when we get rapid kills. And then in the last slot we have Bountiful Well, so anything that makes us a well is going to give us an extra one each time we do that. Next, the mods on our arms is Fastball, which you can change. It just increases the throw distance for our grenade. Then we have Bowstring Detonation, which is grants class ability energy when you cause damage with your grenade, and we always want to have our dodge for invisibility. And then in the last slot, we have Reaping Wellmaker. After activating your class ability, your next weapon final blow on a combatant spawns a Void Elemental Well, and since we have Bountiful Wells on, it's going to spawn 2 for us. Next on the chest piece we have Thermal Shock Plating, which is arc and solar damage resistance, and make sure this chest piece is void so then you can also put on a void damage resistance mod. And then in the last slot we have Elemental Ordnance, and when we get a kill with our grenade, that's going to spawn 2 wells for us because we have Bountiful Wells on. On the leg mods, we're going to have 2 Innervations, which is reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an Orb of Power. And this is just going to be another way for us to get our grenade back faster, since we're already trying to get Orbs of Power to get Devour, and we should be able to do that easily with volatile rounds. And then in the last slot we have Phantom Might. So when we pick up a Void Well and it matches the damage type of our Void weapons, then we're going to be able to do more damage, and that increase is going to be 25%. Now finally for the class mods I have Distribution, which is reduces all ability cooldowns when using class ability near targets. And then in the last slot I have Seeking Wells, so then our wells can track to our location and we don't have to run for them. So to simplify this chapter, all of our abilities are going to be the same. We're just going to be swapping out some of the last slot mods along with the element of our cloak. But for the first weapon, Collective Obligation, you don't have to change anything. You can just keep everything the same. The perk on it is called Void Leech. This weapon leeches void debuffs when damaging targets that are suppressed, weakened, or volatile. Once charged, alternate weapon action to swap firing modes. In this mode, damage from this weapon applies to the same debuffs that were leeched. So you already know how many debuffs we're going to be spamming, so having a weapon like this to where we can get them even more is going to be perfect. Also, you get this weapon as a random drop at the end of the Vowed Disciple raid. For the next weapon, it's going to be the Wavesplitter, which is an exotic trace rifle. And you get this weapon from either PvE drops, PvP drops, exotic engrams, or you can get it from Xur. Now we will be changing some of the mods for this weapon and the next one. Now the perk I want to focus on with this is Supercharged Battery. Collecting an Orb of Power grants a period of maximum power that starts with an automatic reload. Sustained fire in this mode suppresses targets. With how many Orbs of Power we're going to be spawning, this perk should always be proc. And also, by the way, every loadout that I'm talking about right now is going to be in the description below. Now for the mods, we're only going to be changing the last slot for the head and the chest piece. And we're going to be changing the class item to Solar. The last slot for the helmet, we're going to have Elemental Charge, and we're going to become Charged with Light when we pick up an Elemental Well. In the last slot for the chest piece, we're going to have Extra Reserves. While Charged with Light, defeating combatants with void damage grants a chance to drop special ammo. This effect consumes all stacks of Charged with Light. The more stacks you have, the higher your chance of gaining the ammo drop. This is also going to take away 10 intellect from you. And then for the Solar class item, we're going to have Bomber, which is reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. And then in the last slot, we're going to have Supercharged. You can now have 2 additional stacks of Charged with Light, up to 5 maximum. And I want it to pair supercharged with extra reserve so we have more of a chance to get special ammo to drop. And now finally we have the Wavesplitter, which you can get as a random drop at the end of the duality dungeon, and there are challenges that you can do for the drop rate to increase. The perk on it is called Exhumation. Heavy attacks made with full sword energy turn you invisible and fire exploding void projectiles. Now this sword is going to be another way we can easily go invisible, and all we have to do is have our sword heavy attack fully charged. Something I forgot to mention in the Wavesplitter build, you should have an ammo finder on for your trace rifle, and for this build you should have an ammo finder for your sword. For the mods on this build, we're only changing the final slot for the chest piece and the mods on the class item. So the final slot in the chest piece is going to be once again elemental charge, and that's when we pick up an elemental well, we're going to become charged with light. For the last slot on the class item, it's going to be Lucent Blade. While charged with light, dealing damage with the sword gives you bonus sword damage for 5 seconds, consuming 1 stack of charged with light. And then it has a passive perk called Replenishing Guard. Greatly increases the charge rate for your equipped sword. And the way for you to activate this is you have to put another arc mod on the same piece of armor, which is why we put on the other mod, Outreach. Reduces melee cooldown when using your class ability. And to be honest, this is solely to activate the passive perk because you already know when we dodge near an enemy, it already gives us our melee ability back fully. Alright, now that was a lot. If you enjoyed this video and found it in any way helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe. A lot went into this one. And like I said at the beginning, the goal is 500 subs by the end of the month. You guys got 300 for me, 400 for me, and hopefully you guys can get 500 for me. I will see you in the next video. Peace. Wait, and if you're new, be sure to check out some of my other build videos. Alright, bye.